Good day, ABMB learners. This is Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics. Today marks the understanding and appreciation of one's faith. I am sure that you are all ready to learn, so let's now start. My name is Antoinette A. Arcino, together with my group mates, discussing today religions and belief system. Religion is considered as one of the most influential and universal forces in society. Culture is an important part of the study of religions and religious beliefs. Sociologists believe that cultures and religious beliefs are interconnected. As a sociological concept, religions represents vast and complex developments in a society's cultural belief system. So from this statement, let's dig deeper about what religion is. So at this moment, I am here to explain or discuss about the nature of religion. So, ano nga ba ang religion? 'Di ba, in our daily life, pag may nakikiana, nanim religion, what is your religion, nanim relihiyon, nananat mga sagot. Like, sa ako, kasi, halimbawa, Roman Catholic ako, pag may sak nakikiana, what is your religion? Yung babaton ko, ay ako Katoliko tapos pag halimbawa Muslim ang mga Islam in papakianan so ako Muslim. So in broader definition, what religion is, religion was derived from the Latin word religio, which means to bind or to obligate. So parang meaning kasi sinilid parang obligation to gods, something expected by them from human beings, or a matter of particular care or concern is related to gods or reverence for God. Parang to bind or to obligate is ang religion kasi parang may obligation sila sa God, mayon sila reverence for God. So in broadest sense, according to Renard, religions refers to the person's adherence to a set of beliefs or teachings about the deepest and most elusive life mysteries. So, in pakahulugan niya, religions ko na ang pagsunod sa mga set of beliefs, mga teachings about the deepest and most elusive life mysteries. So, nanini nga life mysteries. Life mysteries, yan mga to. Nature of human memories, human thought, di kan mga human nature. So, aside from Renard, may tatlong tao na nagpakahulugan sa religion sa iba't ibang paraan. Una ay si French sociologist Émile Durkheim, defined religion as a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. So, define ni Émile Durkheim nga ang religion ko is unified system para sa mga practices nga related sa sacred things. Examples nito yan, halimbawa, may mga bagay na nga nag-set apart, mga beliefs and pero ang beliefs and practices ang nag-unite all through moral community, which is the church. So, ang kanina nga practices related to sacred things is unsacred things doon is ang church. So according to him, mayon characteristics and religion. First is the religion has a clear distinction of the profane and sacred. For Durkheim, the profane refers to the domain of everyday life, while the sacred refers to the domain that are given respect and reverence. Take note on that. Number 2 is, religions considers belief and faith as forms of acceptance of sacred things without any clear evidence or proof. So, parang a religion religions consider belief and faith bisan waray clear evidence, bisan waray proof. Number 3 is, religions uses rituals and develops organized forms of practices to stimulate the faith of people. Ini nga mga isusugad nga, uses rituals and develop organized forms Inian mga practices includes religious festivities, mga ceremonies nga related sa religious, tapos mga religious service. Number 4 is faithful members gather to organize religious communities. So, ito nga upat and introduce nga characteristic ni Durkheim. According to Durkheim, na in kuan talaga niya nga, ang religion ko na is a vital agent of social control because nagre-require siya sa members of religious organization to conform its rules. Tapos i-take note niyo nga sugad ni Durkheim really notes that in religion conformity to rules is rewarded and non-conformity is punished. So nagets na niyo kung nanos and define ni Emil Durkheim. Basahan kaya ko ang unified systems of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. Itong talaga ang kanya in-define sa religion. So, let's come now to the second person na nagpakahulugan sa religion. Si Karl Marx. Karl Marx is a German philosopher defined religion as the opium of people. Opium of people means the religion expresses oppressed person's hope for an otherworldly fulfillment of a desire that is unmet in this world. Marx argued that religion kuno is to maintain an equal social system nga ang nagbe-benefit la ko ng mga elites and magyaman, tapos nagkakaroon man negative effect sa mga pobre, sa mga lower social classes. So, nagets basta si Karl Marx ang kaya talaga nga ang religion ko no is pag-maintain la sa an equal social system nga ang nagbe-benefit la ang magyaman, tapos ang nagkakaroon negative effect sa mga pobre, sa mga lower classes. The third person, so let's come now to the third person. The third person na nagpakahulugan sa religion is si German sociologist Max Weber. And describe niya nga religion is an important factor toward the rise of capitalism. Didiman siya parang ang kanya man ko ang good parang sa kapitalismo nga ang religion ko no is sayo nga important factor sa pagtaas san kapitalismo. In the Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalists, in 1905, Weber explained how the Calvinist doctrine of predestination lead to the development of the Protestant work ethic. According to Weber, the worldly orientation of Calvinists lead to the development of the capitalist spirit among the Protestant countries to Europe. For Weber, religion can affect a society's behavior and can thereby become a possible agent of societal change. Si German sociologist Weber naman, basaan kaya ang kanya talaga in defines religion, nga important factor ko no siya sa pag-alsa sa kapitalismo. So, para mas lalong maintindihan sa kanila nga tulo, i-differentiate or kuan. So kan Emil Durkheim ang sugad niya, di ba? Ang religion unifies system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. Kan Emil Durkheim ang kanya is ang religion is maanag sasayo sa mga belief systems, sa mga practices nga related to sacred things. Kan Karl Marx man, si Karl Marx man nga, ang religion ko no, is to maintain the unequal social system. Nga, ang nagbe-benefit la, ang magyaman, tapos ang mga pobre, mga nagkakayong negative effect. Si Max Weber man, ang religion kuno is an important factor toward the rise of capitalism. So, naintindihan na ba? So, pag naintindihan na, let's come now to the variety of religious patterns. Religions produce a variety of religious patterns. These religious patterns include supernaturalism, animism, totemism, theism, polytheism, and monotheism. So, let's start. Supernaturalism refers to the society's belief in non-material forces that can influence the physical world. So, parang mas madaling intindihan, supernaturalism perhaps the broadest classification of religious practices, encompassing any belief system dealing with supernatural forces. So, from the world itself, supernaturalism means belief system dealing with supernatural forces. These forces are considered impersonal because they are thought to come and go as they see fit, and can inhabit human and non-human objects alike. The supernatural is associated with paranormal and occult, nga nagdi-differ siya from the traditional concept. Traditional concept in religions kasi, for example, in Catholicism, the undivine miracles is considered as supernatural. So, in supernaturalism, associated siya in paranormal and occult. One of the example is the concept mana in Polynesians and Melanesians. In Polynesian cultures, mana is the force that allows efficacy or the ability to have an influence in the world. Similarly, for Melanesians, mana primarily inhabits objects like charms and amulets, which confer good fortune to whoever possesses them. Pwede sa animals, pwede sa people. Mana is not inherently good or evil. It depends on how it is used. So, pag naintindihan ng supernaturalism, let's come now to animism. What is animism? Animism is the belief in nature's spirit. It also emphasizes ancestor worship. Animists believe that the deceased ancestors continue to guide them in spirit form, and so they should be venerated like the nature spirits because the ancestor spirits can be sought to help the living. So from the meaning itself, animism is a way which natural elements have a special spiritual significance and importance. Ang iba nga niya describe an animism nga, everything has a soul. Kay, parang, dide, sugad sa animism, and go control and tanan sa spirit form. As a spirit, nature of spirit. For instance, or for example, si Medidi in Shinto. Shinto, a religion in Japan which incorporates animist beliefs. Shinto or Shintoism is a Japanese faith that's centered on devotion to spiritual beings called kami. Yun nga Shintoism, parang ankara, inahatag, yung tatagan sambaan, spiritual being, nga indatawag nga kami. So, para ma-remember mo ang animism perme hinumdumaan animals. So, diba, diri sila nagharayo term animism and animal. So, you can remember the term animism by thinking animals, which are important part of natural world that animists honor. Mas ino-honor kasi talaga sa mga animists and animals. So, siguro doon kuhaan word animism. Now to totemism. Totemism believe that natural elements, plants, or animals can influence one life and the material world. Ini nga system of belief na pinaniniwalaan na and human kuno have a kinship or mystical relationship with the spirit being, such as animals or plant. So, in simplest term, totemism is a belief about the relationship between the people and the nature. Let's come now to theism. Theism refers to the people's belief in divinity. So, di din naman, belief nga, ang mga tao may talaga pinaniniwalaan ng God. Theism state that the existence and continuance of the universe is owed to the Supreme Being who is distinct from creation. For this reason, theism proclaims the dualistic relationship between God and the world, wherein God is a being who controls events from the outside of the human world. So, di talaga naniniwala talaga sila na may God, na ang world, parang inhimo talaga sa sayo nga God. Nga, in-proclaim liwat nila, nga, mayon sa religion may dualistic relationship between the God and the world, nga ang God ko noon mga managko-control sa mga tao. So, di din naman get sa polytheism. Polytheism refers to the belief of society to the pantheon of gods, meaning, belief in many gods. Ang pinaniniwalaan didi is damo nga Ginoo. So, example didi is the Hinduism. Hinduism kasi damang karagods nga pinaniniwalaan. Maunin susuyad nga Hindu gods. Example didi is si Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and Ganesha. Pero, aside from Hinduism, damo pang religions and polytheism such as ancient Egyptians, Sumerian gods, mga ancient Greeks. So, ang parang anwaray la didi ang Christian, tapos ang Islam. So, kay adiman siya sa masunod ko nga i-report. And monotheism. Monotheism believes in single God. Diba sa polytheism, believes in many gods, didi man in single God. So, didi, an example didi, and what is a polytheism, adi man siya didi. So, which is the Christian and the Islam. For example, diba, ang mga Christians, ang karapininiwalaan nga God is sayo ula talaga, which is si Jesus Christ. Tapos, same as sa Islam, ang karapininiwalaan la is si Allah. So, remember that polytheism believes in many God and monotheism believes in single God.
So we have the first one, church. The church is an institutional organization that is considered as the most recognized form of religious organization. The church is defined as a large and formalized organization that is incorporated into society and sometimes fused with state. Ang church o simbahan ay isang institusyonal na organisasyon na itinuturing bilang pinaka-kinikilalang anyo ng reliyosong organisasyon. Ang kulugan ng simbahan ay isang malaki at formal na organisasyon na isinasama sa lipunan at kung minsan ay pinaghahalo ng Estado. The church as a formal organization has the following characteristic. Number 1, the church has a clear hierarchical structure and organization. Number 2, it has a developed professional class which makes up the bureaucracy of the church. The third one, the church of hierarchy formulates and implements a set of rules and regulations to govern the organization. Denominations are religious organizations that have a larger number of members but are less formal than a church. Denominations gain members by recruiting and converting members from other churches and denominations that include the Baptists, Methodists, Lutherans, Episcopalians, Unitarians, and Presbyterians. Another example are the Sunni and Shia Muslims denominations. Ang denominasyon ay mga reliyosong organisasyon na may malaking bilang ng mga miyembro ngunit hindi ganong formal kaysa sa mga isang simbahan. Ang mga denominasyon ay nagkakaroon ng mga miyembro sa pamamagitan ng pag-recruit at pag-convert ng mga miyembro mula sa iba pang simbahan at denominasyon. Sect are religions that tend to differ and oftentimes reject a larger religion's beliefs. Sect oppose religious pluralism and focus on the promotion of strict religious doctrines that incorporate all aspects of the member's life. They do not also have a well-organized organizational structure and formal leadership. Ang sekta ay mga reliyon na may posibilidad na magkaiba at kadalasan ay tinatanggihan ang paniniwala ng isang mas malaking reliyon. Ang mga sekta ay sumasalungat sa reliyosong pluralismo at nakatuon sa pagsulong na mahigpit na mga doktrina ng reliyon na nagsasama ng lahat ng aspeto ng buhay ng miyembro. And the fourth one is cults. Cults are relatively small religious organizations whose doctrines are outside mainstream religious traditions. Cults are usually small and localized communities led by a charismatic leader who exercise absolute control over its members. Cult leaders usually claim their authority to rule based on a direct revelation, a divine insight on their own interpretation of sacred texts like the Bible. Cults or kulto raw ay medyo maliit na reliyosong organisasyon na ang mga doktrina ay nasa labas ng mga pangunahing tradisyon ng reliyon. Ang mga kulto ay karaniwang maliliit at lokalisadong komunidad na pinamumunuan ng isang charismatic leader na nagsasagawa ng ganap na kontrol sa mga membro nito. Karaniwang inaangkin ng mga leader ng kulto ang kanilang otoridad na namumuo batay sa isang direktang paghahayag, isang banal o pananaw, o ang kanilang sariling interpretasyon ng sagradong teksto tulad ng Biblia. The use of term cult was considered demeaning and derogatory, and so social scientists used the phrase new religion instead, as this is more politically correct and neutral. It must be noted that defining and labeling a group as a cult is determined by its society and its culture. A religion can be considered a cult in other parts of the world, but a religion in other country. Ang terminong cult o kulto ay itinuturing na nakakahamak at mapanirang puri, at kaya ginagamit ng mga scientificong panlipunan ang mga katagang bagong reliyon. Sa halip nito ay masosto sa politika at neutral. Dapat tandaan na ang pagtukoy at paglabel sa isang grupo bilang kulto ay tinutukoy ng lipunan at kultura.
Good morning, everyone. Now let us discuss the classification of religion. The 5 major religions in the world are Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Christianity and Islam are the largest, with members reaching 1 billion each, followed by Hinduism and Buddhism. Lastly is Judaism, with over 10 million believers. There are 2 categories of religion: monotheistic religion and polytheistic religion. Monotheistic religion is a religious belief system centered around the worship of a single, all-powerful deity, often referred to as God. This concept asserts that there is only one divine being responsible for the creation and governance of the universe. Monotheistic religions emphasize the unity, omnipotence, and omnipresence of this singular God. While polytheistic religion is a religious belief system characterized by the worship of multiple deities or gods. In polytheistic faiths, each god or goddess may possess distinct attributes, responsibilities, and domains of influence. Compared to monotheistic religion where one God is responsible for everything. In polytheistic religion, there are many of them. Sa madaling salita, ang monotheistic religion ay paniniwala sa iisang Diyos, samantalang ang polytheistic religion ay naniniwala sa maraming Diyos at Diyosa. Basta tatandaan nyo lang na kapag poly ay marami, kapag mono ay isa lang. In the table, you can see the 5 religions, where it started and its nature. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are examples of monotheistic religions which have started or originated from West Asia, while Hinduism is an example of polytheistic religion which have started in South Asia. Sa libro nakalagay ang Buddhism ay polytheistic, subalit sources in the internet differs because it claims that as a religion, Buddhism is neither monotheistic nor polytheistic. There is no personal God or monotheistic creator God in Buddhism as there is in Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. Buddhism is a spiritual path based on the teachings of the Buddha, an ordinary man who attained nirvana, enlightenment, or awakening around 6th century BC. In Buddhism, each individual is responsible for his or her own spiritual awakening, which is achieved through meditation, moral and ethical living, and attainment of wisdom. Just compare Buddhism to other polytheistic religions, such as the religions practiced by ancient Greeks, Romans, or Egyptians. Their mythologies have multiple gods and goddesses. There's God of war, goddess of wisdom, of discord, of victory. There is no such gods or goddesses in Buddhism. Now, for my part, let us discuss Islam and Buddhism in detail. Islam. Islam is derived from the Arabic word aslama, which means surrender, submission, commitment, and peace. Islam strictly believes in one God called Allah. It believes that Muhammad is the prophet or messenger of God. Ang Mecca ang tinaguriang holiest place in Islam, located in the modern-day country of Saudi Arabia in the Hijaz province of the country. Muhammad was born in Mecca around 570 CE. Mecca also holds the Kaaba, which is regarded as the holiest structure in Islam. Muslims are obligated to take a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in their lives to view it. Ipinanganak daw si Muhammad noong 570 CE sa Mecca. Siya ay kabilang sa grupo ng mga tao na tinatawag na Quraysh. Hindi siya sang-ayon sa relihiyon ng mga Quraysh na paganism o paniniwala sa maraming Diyos. Yun ang naging dahilan upang magkaroon ng hindi pagkakaunawaan sa pagitan ni Muhammad at mga tagasunod niya at mga taong Quraysh. Yun din ang dahilan upang paalisin sila sa Mecca. Ang Mecca ay nanatiling sentro ng relihiyong Islam hanggang sa ngayon. Nasa Mecca rin ang tinatawag nilang Kaaba. Ang Kaaba, I'm sure nakita niyo na, is yung cube na dinarayo ng mga Muslim mula sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo na matatagpuan o makikita sa sentro ng Masjid al-Haram sa Mecca sa Saudi Arabia. The sacred text of Islam is the Quran. It is the recitation of Muhammad of the messages given to him by Allah. It was initially in oral form, but it was eventually written in full a few years after the death of Muhammad in 632 CE. The Arabic recitation that was written down became known as the Quran. Muslims call their sacred temples as mosques. Islam believes in 5 important rituals, which are called the 5 pillars of Islamic faith. These include the following. Number 1, Shahada. Islam's profession of faith that there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Every Muslim makes a declaration of faith, or Shahada, that says, there is none worthy of worship except God, Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. Ang paniniwala sa Islam, ang purpose kung bakit tayo nabubuhay ay upang pagsilbihan at sundin ang mga utos ni Allah. Ang Shahada rin ang unang binabanggit sa mga sanggol pagkapanganak at ang huling binabanggit pagkatapos mamatay ng isang tao. Pangalawa ay ang Salat, prayer done 5 times every day. Nagdarasal ang mga Muslim ng 5 beses sa isang araw dahil naniniwala sila na sa pamamagitan ng pagdarasal ay nagiging konektado sila sa kanilang Diyos. Kapag nagdadasal ang mga Muslim ay nakaharap sila sa Mecca. Muslims must face Mecca when saying the prayers. They take in many postures during their prayers. They stand, incline, prostrate, and sit. Ang prostrate na position ay kung saan yung forehead nila is naka-rest sa sahig. The prayers are read from the Quran and must be said from memory in Arabiya, the language of the Quran. The prayers are at specific times of day: dawn, midday, late afternoon, sunset, and nightfall. The Muezzin calls the Muslims to prayer using a human voice. Kung sa Jews, they use shofar. Sa Christians naman is bells. Pangatlo ay ang zakat, almsgiving done by Muslims. It means purification. It is the duty of each believer to purify their positions by giving to the needy. Dili sa zakat, ang mga magyaman na Muslim nagahatag sila limos sa mga pobre kay siton daw ko na maagi na purify ang yaman na natutuda sa kanra. In the Islamic law, the Sharia believers are told to give 2.5% of what they own, but some Muslims believe they should give 40% of their possessions as their sadaqa or voluntary charity. Number 4 is Sawn, fasting done by Muslims during the holy month of Ramadan. During Ramadan, all Muslims fast from dawn until sundown. They are not allowed to eat or drink nor have any relations with their husbands and wife. Fasting is a way the Muslims purify themselves. While they fast and deprive themselves of food, they have a better sense of God. It also teaches them self-restraint. Ang mga may sakit, mga matatanda o buntis o kaya naman nasa travel, di sila kinakailangang mag-fasting. Saka na kapag pwede na. According to Prophet Muhammad, fasting becomes obligatory when the child reaches adolescence. Ang age range ng adolescence is from 10 years old to 19. Usually, pag 10, tidak na nagtitikang, pero depende talaga kay kung kaya na nira. Ang iba, nagtitikang 11, 12, or 13. Pero, pwede liwatikangan sa mga kag-anak sa mas maaga kaysa sa 10 years old para daw masanay ang mga bata. Pero masalipotan ka na fasting compared sa adults. Number 5 is Hajj, pilgrimage done by Muslims to the holy city of Mecca. Every Muslim who is physically and financially able to must make at least one pilgrimage to Mecca in his lifetime. Every pilgrim wears simple clothing that doesn't show whether they are wealthy or poor. The pilgrimage takes place every year in the 12th month of the Islamic year. Islam has two main groups, the Sunni and the Shia. Ang mas nakararami ay ang Sunnis, that are about 80% of the world's Muslims, and the Shias, also called as Shiite Muslims, are only about 20% of the world's Muslims. Although they share the same basic beliefs, they disagree on who was the rightful leader of Islam after Muhammad's death. Shia group or the Shiite Muslims believe that Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, was the successor of the Prophet. Sa paniniwala ng mga Shia, ang pagiging propeta ay ipinasa ni Muhammad kay Ali na kadugo niya. Ayon sa kanila, ang pwede lang magmana ng pagiging propeta ang nagmula sa linya ni na Muhammad. Kaya ang mga miyembro ng Shia group, meron silang family tree sa kanila bilang katunayan na nagmula sila sa linya nila Muhammad. While Sunni Muslims believe that Muhammad did not appoint any successor and that it was up to the elders to determine from among themselves who should become the Prophet's successor. Para naman sa mga Sunni Muslim, bahala ng mga nakakatanda kung sino sa kanila ang pipiliin o hihirangin nila bilang susunod na propeta. This was in accordance with the examples of Muhammad called as the Sunnah. The majority of the Muslim group who followed the Sunnah became known as the Sunnis.
Buddhism. Buddhism is considered as the third major religion in India next to Hinduism and Jainism. It is also believed to be the first international missionary religion that was established in the 6th century BCE by Siddhartha Gautama, a Kshatriyan prince who became Buddha after receiving enlightenment. The word Buddha is a title which means one who is awake, in the sense of having woken up to the reality. The Buddha was born as Siddhartha Gautama in Nepal around 2,500 years ago. He did not claim to be a god or a prophet. He was a human being who became enlightened, understanding life in the deepest way possible. Buddhism focused on the importance of unworldliness and the need for discipline. Buddhists emphasize the importance of the middle path or way. The middle way meant not leading a life of luxury and indulgence, but also not one of too much fasting and hardship. They believe that indulgence in desire or extreme ascetic discipline and material deprivation that tortures the body and mind do not end suffering in life. Hindi daw natatapos ang pagdurusa ng isang tao sa pamamagitan ng pag-indulge natin sa sarili natin in desire o pag-deprive natin sa sarili ng mga material na bagay. Buddhism emphasizes the teachings of the Four Noble Truths of Buddha. The Four Noble Truths are the following. 1. Noble Truth of Suffering or Dukkha. Life is full of suffering and it is made up of a cycle of birth, decay, illness, and death. Some people may find this teaching pessimistic. Buddhists find it neither optimistic nor pessimistic, but realistic. Fortunately, the Buddha's teachings do not end with suffering. Rather, they go on to tell us what we can do about it and how to end it. 2. Noble Truth of the Cause and Origin of Suffering. The ignorance of the nature of reality creates desires, and suffering is caused by desire. 3. Noble Truth of the Cessation of Suffering. Suffering can be eliminated by removing desire. The Buddha taught that the way to extinguish desire, which causes suffering, is to liberate oneself from attachment. 4. Noble Truth of the Path to the Cessation of the Cause of Suffering. To end suffering, one must follow the Eightfold Path. It includes right understanding or belief, right attitude of mind, right speech, right action and behavior, right livelihood, right effort, right recollection or mindfulness, and right meditation or concentration. The Eightfold Path is also called the Middle Way. It avoids both indulgence and severe asceticism, neither of which the Buddha had found helpful in his search for enlightenment. Buddhism sacred texts are organized into three major categories called as baskets or pitaka. Isinulat ang mga pangaral ni Buddha base sa pagkakaalala ng mga tao pagkatapos ng kanyang pagkamatay. Isinulat ito sa palm leaves at pagkatapos ay kinuligtas tatlong baskets o pitaka. Ang una ay ang Vinya Pitaka, Sutra Pitaka, at Abhidharma Pitaka. Vinya Pitaka contains all the rules of the monastic discipline, including rules for behavior training, meditation, and devotion. Sutra Pitaka, compilation of Buddhist speeches. It consists of more than 10,000 suttas or discourses delivered by the Buddha and his close disciples. 3. Abhidharma Pitaka, the 7 lengthy theoretical interpretations of the teachings of Buddha. In the Third Council of the Buddhist monks in 250 CE, members agreed to formulate the 3 baskets into one single scripture called as the Tripitaka. So collectively, tinawag siyang Tripitaka. Next, the other 3 religions will be discussed by Dennis.
So let us now move to Judaism, Christianity, and Hinduism. Let us first discuss what Judaism is. So Judaism daw came from the Hebrew word Yehudim, which means Huda. It traces its beginnings to the time of Abraham, the first Hebrew who received revelations from God or Yahweh. So Judaism daw came from the word Yehudim, which means Huda. It traces its new beginnings to the time of Abraham. Si Abraham daw ang pinakaunang Hebrew nga naka-receive revelations tikang kan God or Yahweh. So Judaism's principles collection of holy writings is the Hebrew Bible, a collection of short works written and edited over 1,000 years. The foundational text of the Hebrew is called the Torah or the Pentateuch. It is also called as the 5 books of Moses. These are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So, ang principal collection or ang pinakaunang koleksyon sa mga Judaism nga nagsisilbi sa kanragay that is written and edited throughout 1,000 years is called the Hebrew Bible. Pinaka mahalaga or the foundational text that is being said is called as the Pentateuch or the Torah or the Pentateuch, na gintatawag liwat nga the 5 books of Moses. The 5 books of Moses is composed of 5, which includes Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, as is being written here. So para sa mga Jews, God daw is both a supreme and accessible God. So para sa kanila, dirila superior si God, kundi madali la liwat siya dookan. And the Jews also believe that God is the creator of all things. The Jews call their sacred temple as synagogues. So, synagogues daw ang ngaran sa kanang temple, kung diin sila nagtitipon-tipon. Let us now proceed to Christianity. Christianity came from the Greek word Christos, which means anointed. The term was derived from the name of Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity. Ang Christos daw, ang term nga Christos or Christians is from the name of Jesus Christ. And si Jesus Christ is the founder of Christianity. So, people who profess their belief in Jesus Christ are called Christians. Ang mga natuod daw or mga naniniwala kan Jesus Christ is called Christians. They believe that God is the creator and sustainer of everything. He is the Lord of eternity and a supreme being who is ceaselessly active in human history. Christianity believes that God creates all possibilities, both good and bad, but He allows evil actions. So Christianity is natuod nga God is creator of all, of everything. Mapa good man, mapa mabuti man, or masama. The doctrine of Trinity, or according to the Christian doctrine, means that there is only one God who eternally exists as 3 distinct persons. Mauna ini and the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lastly, let's discuss Hinduism. Hinduism is considered as the world's oldest living religion, which means that mas naiuna pa ang Hinduism kaysa sa iba nga religion. It is made up of a complex set of belief systems and practices that encompasses not only religion but also philosophy and culture. Bakit complex ang set of beliefs nila? It is because wala founder or still unknown ang founder sa Hinduism for over 1,000 of years. Though mayon na mga theory, but wala pa napapatunayan kung sino talaga ang founder sa Hinduism. That's why it's a complex set of belief system. For Hindus, the world is considered evil and unimportant. They believe that the soul is caught in a cycle of birth, death, rebirth, called samsara. Hindus believe that one's present life is only the most recent in a long chain of lives that extends far into the past. For Hindus, the world is considered evil for them daw. Is ang kalibutan, evil and diri importante, but not inherently, which this only means that under philosophical perspective, na the world is temporary and subject to suffering. But it doesn't mean na the world is evil or unimportant sa kanila. This para sa mga Hindus is the world is still imperfect. The world is chaotic. They believe that the soul is caught in a cycle of birth, death, rebirth called samsara. Samsara is also known as karma in them. This birth, death, rebirth is the reincarnation. Hindus believe that one's present life is only the most recent in a long chain of lives that extends far into the past. They believe that the soul can constantly improve in order to reach a higher level of social class, known in Hindu society as a social caste. Ang mga Hindus natuod na ang kaluluwa is nabubuhay utro, pero sa iba naman nga form. The reincarnation, sa iba naman nga form. Ayon siton sa Eramoral law. So, social caste man is ang pag-evolve every reincarnation sa kaluluwa kasi simingat to sa mas magyamang or mas hataas nga uri sa pamumuhay. So, ang goal sa Hinduism is maabot ang level or malagpasan pa ang level sa mga Brahmin. Ang mga Brahmin, mao ini ang klase sa pari nila. To achieve moksha, Hindus have to follow a code of living that emphasizes good conduct and morality called dharma, and practice spiritual works. Hindus also believe that their actions and thoughts in life and previous lives determine their caste and their progress towards moksha.
Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing the important concept of separation of church and state. So, the separation of church and state is refers to the clear distinction between religious institution and government entities within a society. It aims is to prevent the undue influence of religious leaders on government decisions and vice versa, ensuring a fair and impartial government. So, historically, this idea gained prominence during the Enlightenment era and was championed by thinkers like John Locke. It was further embedded in the United States through the First Amendment of the Constitution. The Establishment Clause in this amendment prohibits the government from establishing an official religion, while the Free Exercise Clause ensures the protection of individuals' right to practice their chosen religion. So, the separation of church and state has been a subject of ongoing debate and a legal interpretation. It advocates argue that it safeguards individual freedoms, promote religious diversity, and prevents potential religious discrimination. However, critics often contend that it may lead to the marginalization of religious values in public discourse. Internationally, the degree of separation varies across different countries. Some adopt a more circular approach, while others maintain closer ties between religion and governance. Overall, the principles serve as cornerstone for democratic societies seeking to balance religious freedom with the need for impartial and inclusive governance.